Are you tired of generic art goals that don't help you grow and only keep you the artist that you were last year? Well, as you watch me draw this, learn about some of the best, most actionable art goals that you can make this year that will actually transform your art in your life, as well as how they relate to my own art goals for this year. And unless you want the next 365 days to look like the last, this is how you're gonna do better. Now, I'm going to say that you probably want to feel really good about every artwork that you make. You want to feel confident in it. You want to like it at the end of the day, right? And that rolls into this goal right here, which is that I'm going to say one of the worst things that you're probably doing at the end of every artwork is you're asking yourself, is this good? Maybe this isn't good enough. It's not good in my eyes. It's not good compared to that person. So we want to stop that and we want to be more intentional because listen, y'all, real talk, if you're only looking at your artwork and asking yourself, is it good or not? Then you're honestly missing the point of why you even sat down and started to make that. So for this goal, I want you to start to be deliberate with every single artwork. And instead of you just looking at the end and assessing the final product, I want you to have 3 focuses in every single artwork, okay? So first off is, what's the mood of the piece? So what do you want somebody to feel as soon as they look at it? Should they feel happy? Should they feel triumphant? Should it feel chaotic? Should it feel dangerous? Should it feel stressful? Should it feel playful? Next, what is the focus of this piece? In other words, compositionally, what are the elements pointing to? What am I supposed to look at every single time that I look at this, or anybody who's unfamiliar with the piece? Where do they look first? How is your composition serving that? And then number 3, what is the learning objective here? And this is a big, powerful one that y'all probably aren't doing. So every single project that you make, don't just go into it with, I hope that this looks good. Go into it with, okay, I want to get better at this. I want to get better at that. I want to get better at anatomy. I want to get better with hair. I want to get better with backgrounds. I want to get better with coloring. I want to get better with lighting. Have a specific learning objective. Now, what all of this does is it actually gives you targets to hit. And then by the end of it, you don't look at the end goal. You don't look at the final outcome and say, is it good? Nope, of course it's not good because I don't look like that person. No, friend. You can actually look at it and be like, okay, cool. This is where I raised my stats. This is where I actually made progress. This is where I feel good about it. So for me, I feel that this is the evolution of my goal from last year where I said I want to just focus on one thing in every artwork. And I want to evolve that into this because I think that that is the next level of it. And again, to help me and you feel better about it. So for this year, here are my 3 points that I need to focus on in my artworks. First off, for my moods, I noticed that I do a lot of dark and heavy pieces, so I want to do more bright pieces too, or I wanted to increase my color usage in them a little bit more. And then for my focus, I'm going to continue to use composition in order to draw me into these elements because I really want to create a lot of moody, emotional scenes. I want to really focus on character-driven elements. And my learning objective is going to be that I really want to do a lot more painterly stuff. And I want to continue to paint more and more different subjects so that I can put it into every single artwork. So tell me down below, what are your 3 things that you need to focus on every single time that you make an artwork? Now, I know that this is usually a holly jolly time of the year, but screw that, y'all. We need to channel our inner dark wizard right now. And I'm gonna ask you to summon that forth and participate in some what I call art necromancy. This is when, for this goal, I want you to go ahead and find some of your artworks that you used to love or you like, but you kind of think that you could do it a lot better this year. And I want you to revive that. I want you to go ahead and hit that again. And this is one of my favorite challenges that I do in my art Discord server around this time of the year, where I want you to go ahead, I want you to find a piece that's a year or older than that, and I want you to find a piece that you think that you could do better, you could make some changes on. And what I love about this is that it doesn't make you start from scratch. No, I'm not saying go ahead and just completely reboot it from the start, unless you really want to. But otherwise, just go ahead and take another step. This is version 2.0 of it. This is the mastered version of it, okay? And what this does is it allows you to see where have you grown, where have you developed, what skills have you implemented into it as well. And I love doing this because this is such a great motivation boost. And this is also a fantastic way for you to display all of your growth over this year and where you've made your gains. And fun fact, by the way, you're actually watching me do that right now in this video right here, because I made this piece a couple of years ago, and I've been dying to go ahead and improve this with everything I've learned over the last couple of years. And so for me, I gave my goal of the last year to do 3 of these, and I actually did 5 of them. So I'm pretty proud of myself on that one. Where do I want to go with this year? My new goal this year, as I'm breaking into it and I'm starting to get a little bit busier with my art business, is I want to do 3 to 4. I find that to be very manageable, and that does not include this one though, so I want to do even more than that. And y'all, find a way to fall back in love with your artwork instead of you having to open up your artwork every time and cringe and go, I could do so much better now, because now you can show that you can. Now, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that at some point you might want to engage into some social media. But I want this goal to relate to something that you've probably never heard before and something that you're not doing. And it's probably why you don't feel good about it and you don't want to put your work out there, or you stop doing it altogether. And that's just because in this year, I want you to go ahead and have a very clear social media focus. And what I mean by that very specifically is I want you to take a look at whatever platform you're trying to grow on, Instagram, YouTube, Kara, whatever it is, okay? And just ask yourself this, like, why are you using that platform? And what do you hope to gain from it? Because just real talk, if you're putting your artwork out there, or you're making content, or you're making videos for it, then obviously you want something back from it, okay? And I want you to be very clear on that. And now let me give you some advice on why most artists totally fail at whatever social media that they actually want to grow on. And it's just because of this. You have no point to being on there. You don't have any focus. You don't have any clear direction for what you want to do. And then you're told that you have to do 17 different platforms in order to grow. And just real talk, you're going to fail at that because it's completely unachievable unless you just don't work whatsoever. And that's not how most of us operate, is it? So instead, here's what I'm going to advise you on, a very manageable strategy. Just pick your top 3. So tell me down below, what are your top 3 platforms that you want this year? And now let me tell you about one of the biggest follies that a lot of artists make when it comes to social media, is that they're going to go ahead and make their goal some type of number, some type of metric. It can be a certain number of views, certain number of subscribers. And I did this last year, and I said that I wanted to go ahead and hit 50,000 subscribers. And while I didn't do that, I doubled the amount of people I did have, and I'm grateful for all of you that have been with me since then and have joined since then as well. But here's the thing, all of that you don't have control over, okay, my friend? So do not say I need to have so many likes, so many subscribers, so much engagement like that, because you are not directly in control of that. Instead, what I want to urge you to do this year is to start to put yourself in the driver's seat of that. So one of the things I'm thinking about this year is how good is my content going to be so that it's worth that much. So that kind of rolls me into my goals for this year, which is first and foremost, my focus for social media is to bring people right here to YouTube. And if you want to help be a part of that too, and you want to help me achieve my goals for this year, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, because I will be delivering you actionable, helpful, honest advice every single week, just like this. And so one of the things that I big time want to do is go ahead and focus down into my top 3, which for me, I think this year are honestly still going to continue to be YouTube because I love this platform. Number 2 for me is going to continue to be my Instagram, and I'm thinking about either being Kara or Blue Sky. If you have any opinions about that, please let me know down below, because I'm not firm on which one is going to be my 3rd, but that would be my priority pecking order. And then as far as my content here on YouTube, I'm not going to say how many subscribers I want or how many views I want. What I want to say is this though, I'm going to create content that is worth 100,000 subscribers. And the reason why I want to do it that way is because that will bring me to the point where I'm not so much looking at how much do I have or how much do I not have and feeling either good or bad depending on whether or not I did or did not hit that. But it's actually going to bring me to a point where I feel good about it and I'm actually focusing on the right stuff. So what's your big goal this year, social media wise, and where do you want to focus your time and efforts and energy? Now, y'all, I've never met an artist that doesn't have a fantastic idea, that doesn't have even 3 to 20 fantastic ideas. And this year, y'all, I want you to transform those ideas from thought into labor. So listen, I want you to start your passion project this year, okay? Whatever it is, and tell me down below, what is it? Is it a manga? Do you want to go ahead and create your video game? Do you want to go ahead and start doing concept art? Do you want to switch your role into whatever art field that you want to get into? Whatever it is, I want you to really invest into that. And look, I want to just release you from the grasp of perfection right now. You don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to wait until you're perfect. You can put it off and put it off and put it off. And listen, by the time that you're perfectly ready, you will have waited way too long, friend. I want you instead to refocus yourself into this, whatever that passion project is, because it means something to you, right? Listen, do it sloppy, do it imperfect, do it ugly, do it terribly, do it unprepared, but just for the love of God, start it this year. Create an outline for you to actually start to go towards it. What are you going to do? What is your passion project, okay? And I just want to ask you, how many more years do you want to go by where you continue to watch art goal videos like this before you're actually going to act upon that? Because right now, friend, you are the youngest that you will ever be, and that will never change. So why don't you start it right now? If it's gonna take you time, it's okay. Time doesn't care about you, so you might as well just start it right now. So what is your passion project, and how long has it been cooking in your head, and how much does that mean to you? Because let's go, let's do it now. So last year on this topic, I planned to do 5 to 8 pieces of my own, and I did 3. So I'm not too ashamed of that though, because I've kind of found that my business blew up a little bit more than I expected it to. But this year I do want to, again, continue to reinvest into my passion project. I have my own I have my own characters that I've been cooking in my brain literally for like 20 years. So for me this year, here's what I want to do. I want to continue to work on my own independent character designs. And by the end of this year, I want to have 10 independent character designs done. They are all my own. They are not from IPs. They're not from clients. They're not from anything else recognizable, just my brain. And I want to go ahead and share that with you. So I'll be doing that all throughout my channel all year. I hope you'll be along for that ride. Now this year, I want you to party more and party harder than ever. And no, I'm not talking about that kind. I'm talking about, I want you to join up with your fellow artists. I want you to find your companions. I want you to find your questmates, because I want you to find your new art crew to go on amazing creative adventures with them. And I just want you to think about this, like there's no adventure that exists that does not involve just an interesting crew and set of companions. And I want you to do that this year too, because y'all, this has been a really weird, bewildering couple of years, honestly, in the art community, and we need each other more than ever. You need people like you more than ever. You need people to support you more than ever. And a lot of times I find that artists don't get that at home. They don't get those in those physical environments. So if you're not blessed with that, then you need to make sure that you continue to find more like that. And even if you are blessed with an amazingly supportive community at home, that's awesome. That's not the norm, friend. But if that's you, I would still encourage you, branch outwards. You need artists, because one of the most important things that you gotta have fellowship. So let me know for this goal, where do you want to find more communities and better communities? Because we are gonna grow to the level of the people that we surround ourselves with, or you are going to shrink to the level of the people that you surround yourself with. And it's your choice who you want that to be. So where are you gonna go? You're gonna go on Facebook, you're gonna go on Reddit, you're gonna go on Discord, you're gonna go on Blue Sky, you're gonna go on Kara. Where are you going to go? If you know great places to find other artists, shout it out down below, because I guarantee you there's like 100 more people that would love to know about that place too. And just to let you know, one of my favorite places to go is my Discord server, totally free. You'll find a link down in the description. You will love it. And just talk about my goals on this one. First off, I wanted to go ahead and grow my Discord server last year, and I also wanted to be more active in it by doing community challenges. And I did do that. Every single month, I do a monthly art challenge. I also do a monthly discussion topic, and I'm gonna reinvest into that this year because I love that place, and we've doubled the amount of people in it, and I wanna keep that going for it. So for this year, here's what I wanna do. I'm gonna continue my monthly art challenges, where I also do some free feedback and critique on them every single time with a private video just for that group right there. I also want to reinvest into my monthly discussion topics to keep everything relevant and meaningful for you there. And I also want to reinvest my time into being more interactive, both in my public channels on my server as well as my mentorship channels. Because if you didn't know, I run a private one-on-one mentorship, which you can also find links for in the description right there. But I want to go ahead and I really want to be somebody that can help other artists. And I want this to supercharge you into being the best version of yourself for this year. And the only way you're going to do that is by you finding fellowship no matter where you want to go, friend. So where are you going to go? Now, one of the worst things that is ever going to get in the way is going to be your physical health this year. And just real talk, in case you didn't know, spoiler alert, we all die. And we want to combat that, and we want to use the time that we have in the best version of it. So I want you to make more room for creativity by investing into your health and wellness for this next year. And this is not typically something that you expect from any art advice videos. I get it, but here's why. Because if you have sound body, you are going to have a lot more room for creativity, and you're going to be able to unleash your imaginative powers because your body is not fighting against you at every step of the way, friend. So let me just ask you this. What are you going to do in order to turn yourself physically into a better, more productive artist this year? And I want you to really think about that. This can take a lot of shapes. So what do you want to do to be a healthier version of yourself? Do you want to go ahead and dedicate to going on walks? Do you want to go for some hikes? Do you want to go canoeing? Do you want to go ahead and start to have like some type of a runner schedule for yourself? Do you want to go ahead and start hitting the gym X amount of days in a week? Do you want to commit to just doing like a 15-minute YouTube workout at home? You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to turn yourself into an Instagram fitness model here, but listen, make room for yourself. Have some respect for your body, because your body is the vessel for your creativity. And if you don't tend to that vessel, it will break. And so this rolls me into what my health and wellness goals are this year. So here we go, and tell me what yours are down below while you listen to mine here. First and foremost, I'm going to continue a practice that you might think is rather painful, but I'm going to tell you is really amazing, that I've been doing this for a couple of years. It is taking an ice cold shower in the morning, and you just have to do this for like 3 to 5 minutes. It's really not that bad, and you actually feel amazing afterwards. So I'm going to continue to do that for no less than 5 days a week. And another big thing is that I want to hit 300 push-ups a day. I currently can hit 250, believe it or not, and I've been able to do that for like the last year and a half. And another big thing too is that I'm going to be habit stacking positive habits with negative habits. So just for example, like if I'm going to watch anime, I'm going to combine that with weightlifting or some type of movement, getting on my exercise bike. And same thing goes with readings. I have to read a lot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack that with getting on my exercise bike, so that I am going to be moving and I'm going to get my blood pumping and I'm going to feel good while I'm getting intellectually good too. So what are your big health and wellness goals, and how is that going to help your creativity this year? Now for this next goal, I want to let you know that more drawing and more art and more tutorials is not always the best way to be a better artist. It's not the best way for you to get your best ideas. And if you really want to invest this year into you developing those ideas and getting better versions of them and maturing them, here's what I'm gonna advise you on for this next goal, is that I want you to invest into reading this year. Let me just give you this tragic statistic. In the United States, the average American household bought less than one book this year. That's crazy. Books are literally a repository of imagination and information, and they are the source of literally all creative power. I want you to actually invest into reading something that's of interest to you. Maybe it's history. Maybe you love to read about World War II or another part of the world, or the ancient Egyptians. Maybe it's a specific genre. Like maybe you want to read a little bit more sci-fi. You want to read a little bit more fantasy. But I do want to go ahead and make this guideline though. This has to just be words. It cannot be comic books, because it's not the same. It's an entirely different state of your mind. The big mental gain here is that by investing into your reading, friend, you are going to be exposed to new ideas. You're going to expand your creative imaginative powers, because as you're reading those words, your brain is going to form pictures of them, okay? And then you're also going to be exposed to new perspectives and new types of characters, and that's going to help you bring depth and substance into the stuff that you're doing artistically. And this is not something that most people talk about, but literally, y'all, this is how you are going to mature your brain, and you're actually going to take a break. Like if you're somebody that's like, I need to take breaks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but most people don't take breaks. They take distraction times, and this is a great way for you to actually take a wonderful human break. So for me this year, here's my goal, is I want to read 35 books. And no, I did not stutter up on that, because honestly, this will help me as well, because I'm currently in the middle of writing my dissertation for my doctorate program, so I can be Dr. Sean in a year from now. And this is really going to help me with that goal on. And honestly, last year I read about that many, so I know I can do it again. So for you, friend, what do you like to read? What do you want to invest in? Or if there's somebody here that's like, I don't really like to read, what would you advise them to do about it? Now I'm going to go on a limb here and say that you can probably relate to this experience. Do you ever look at your artwork after it's done? And typically it'll happen the next day, or just the next time you open it when you have a little bit of time. Do you ever open that bad boy up and just go, oh, yuck. Oh my God. How did I miss that? I wish I saw that before. Oh, I'm so stupid. Why didn't I see that? Oh, I used to feel good about this, but now I don't. I felt fantastic on top of the world. I thought this was the best thing I ever did, but now I don't anymore. Can you relate to this? Do you ever look at your artwork maybe a day or a couple days later, and then what do you see? You don't see all the glorious conquests in it. You only see the mistakes. And I can tell you from experience, I've done this so many times. Listen, I've even fired off artwork to clients, and then I open it up on my computer a couple days later. I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? So one of the things I'm going to advise you on to start to do this year is to employ what I call the reach principle, which is that basically whenever you're done, just realize that there's probably a little bit more to do after you think that you're done, because just to be honest with you, most of the time when you say, I'm done, that's usually an emotional statement, not a factual statement. So you're going to be done a lot more in your heart before your head. So then when you open it up the next time, go ahead and ask yourself, if I had another hour, what would I do? If I had another 2 hours, what would I do? If I had another 5 hours, what would I do? And if you do this, you're gonna spot the things that you wanna improve on. And now I know one of your biggest objections to this are gonna be like, well, Sean, I don't want to overwork the piece. And y'all, I just want to put this to bed. There's no such thing as overworking a piece. There's only such a thing as you quitting early or you working confused, not overworking. Because if you overworked the parts of your artwork that you want people to look at and you want people to love, it wouldn't be overworking, it would just be good work. So for last year, I gave myself a very similar goal that I'm gonna give myself this year, which is that I will not send my artwork to a client, nor will I go ahead and post any of my artwork to anywhere on social media or anywhere online for that fact, until 24 hours later, when I will open it back up, I will look at it and I will give myself 1 to 2 more hours to just go ahead and doctor it up a little bit more, because I know I'm gonna find those mistakes, because I always do. Have you ever found this too? And how could this help you? Now I'm gonna go on a limb and say that you probably compare your artwork to other people a lot, but you're probably doing it in a really sucky way that is detrimental and not helpful for you. So let's flip that on its head this year, y'all. What I want you to do this year is to go ahead and force yourself into positive comparison, where you enter a state of what's called positive dissatisfaction, which is where you are going to be okay with where you are, but you're going to identify where you can develop. And one of the best practices that I've found in order to do this is to create what's called an influence map. And I'm gonna go ahead and send you a link in the description right here, totally free for you to use my template. It's a Photoshop document. You can download it right now and create it yourself. But basically what I'd like you to do is to go ahead and just fill that influence map with everybody that is really, really influential for you, that is really impactful for your artwork. And here's a big power move that most people don't do right. Go ahead and only fill that with the ones that actually relate to the aesthetic that you want, okay? So for example, me, myself, like I follow a ton of artists on social media, follow thousands of them, but I recognize this, I like their art, but I don't want to do their art, okay? So whatever aesthetic that you're interested in choosing, make sure that they all relate to around that, and even if it's just conceptually relating around that, then include that up on there. So myself, just to show you examples here, I have 4 of these that I've made. I've made one for Riot Games, I made one for Magic the Gathering because I really want to work for them. I made one for Legend of the Cryptids because I love their style. And then I also made one from Feng Zhu because I'm very much into concept art and I love to teach concept artists as well. And by the way, don't just make these and just throw them somewhere in the recesses and the bowels of your hard drives. No, go ahead, print them up and put them right where you can see them. I literally have these right across from where I draw, so every single time I look up, I can see all of them. And what you want to do for this is use this as goal orientation so that you know, okay, I want to go ahead and render a little bit more like that. I want to use lighting a little bit more like that. Oh, I want to use color like that. Oh, I like the way that they did this element in there. I want to do that too. And this supercharges me in order to really give me some type of guidance towards what I need to do in order to match that level of where I want to go. So for my goal this year that you can share is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue to put up my work literally inside of this document next to these artists every single time, every single artwork that I make, so that I can start to see where do I go. And the process here, by the way, is not for you to feel bad about yourself, but it's to ask the right questions. How do I get there? What do I have to do? What do I have to focus on? What can I start to do? And again, relate it back to that first goal. What's the focus? What's the mood? And what's the learning objective I need to implement in every artwork? This is how you're gonna do it. Now I'm gonna tackle a really relevant topic, and it's something that I've been working with on my channel for a couple of years now. And are you somebody that's maybe thinking about using AI image generation, or are you somebody that's thinking about enhancing what you're currently doing? Are you somebody who's right now, maybe you're even thinking about, or you are currently using those softwares, those tools in order to what you perceive to be bettering your product? Well, my friend, this year, for this goal, I want you to wholly abandon it, and I want you to just reinvest into yourself. And if you're no stranger to my channel, you know my thoughts on this topic, but listen, y'all, in using AI, you're not actually growing into the person that you want, you're growing away from the person that you were destined to be. Because AI and everything that was built upon attacks your deficit thinking. What you can't do, what you're not good at, what you're not fast enough to be able to produce, what you're not able to create at an industry level standard, okay? And all of that will never bring you to the place that you want to go. And I know that a lot of AI proponents on this will say that you are going to fade away and you are not going to be competitive. But as a more seasoned artist, I just want to let you know that you blending in through using the same things and the same looking stuff as everybody else is not a smart way to help you stand out. It's actually a foolish way to try and accomplish that. And I know what you're thinking, and I know, especially if you're a younger artist, you're thinking to yourself, it can do it better than me, it can do it faster than me. But listen, y'all, that doesn't matter, and nobody's impressed with it. And if you're actually wanting somebody to respect you and not a software, what I want to encourage you just to consider is this, is that your avoidance of work is also your submission to fail. And I think about this best in terms of like how I continue to not be impacted whatsoever by AI image generation in my freelance work. If anything, honestly, since AI came out, I've actually tripled everything that I've done in my freelance work. It has not sunk. And if you want to learn how, I've got loads of resources for you all over my channel on how to actually be a more successful freelancer. But I want you to actually take a look at the hard stuff this year. What are you avoiding doing? What are you not doing? What are you afraid of doing this year, okay? Because by you investing into yourself, you're investing into your artistic voice. And by you taking a shot, taking a chance, and working afraid and working ugly and going through those ugly phases, you are gonna come out and you're gonna stand out, because I'm gonna promise you this, every single person that is out there is actually looking for somebody that's unique, different, and special, and you have all of that to offer them, friend. But not if you're trying to use and do the same thing as everybody else. Y'all will never be a wolf among sheep when you have that herd mentality. And if you're somebody that's heavily invested into this, and maybe you just don't agree with me on this, okay, I want to challenge you right now. Why don't you go ahead and start to wean yourself away from it and see what you do and see how you feel and see how you develop, because I promise you, you are going to feel amazing about it. More amazing than spitting out that generation. So how this relates to my goal is that, first off, last year, I gave myself the goal of, hey, I want to create one video, just one video every single month to combat the toxic AI rhetoric, which I've done, and I'm very happy to be able to do that. And it's helped a lot of artists just like you. And now going into this year, I do want to continue to help artists get to the level that they want to get to and feel encouraged to do what they are meant to do here best. Because I know people are very different and people are very polarizing on this, but honestly, I feel that the future of art is in the hands of artists and not the hands of tools or machines. Because I know a lot of people are afraid to voice their opinions on that, but this is just mine. And if you're down for that, here's where I am with it. And I hope you are too, because this is actually how you're gonna get ahead. Now, I know we talked about your community a little bit, but I want to refocus that into a more pertinent, relevant topic for you, okay? And I want you to make sure that you really do roll with a better crew. Because my advice for you this year is to start to seek out a lot more advice and guidance this year. And no, I'm not talking about just go ahead and tune up a bunch of stuff on your watch later list here on YouTube. Listen, I love this platform as well, but I don't want you to stay distracted this year. I want you to stay productive this year, and I bet you do too, right? And the way I want to advise you and kind of shape this for you is as such. Very much, humans are like hermit crabs, okay? And we will only grow, just like hermit crabs will only grow to the size of their shell. You will only grow to the quality of your guidance. And I just want to ask for you, when's the last time that you actually put yourself up for critique? Or how do you generally act to critique? And how do you generally respond to it? And how much are you maybe avoiding it? Are you somebody that avoids it, or are you somebody that loves it? Because I tend to find people are on one side of that seesaw or the other. And so this year, are you going to retreat into your shell, or are you going to seek critique? Because for me, I really want to find better guidance. And so I want to ask you this year, how are you going to invest into your self-education? What are you going to do? Are you going to take courses? Are you going to take classes? Or if you want the better version of this one, I would really heavily consider that you think of a mentorship. And there's loads of them out there. There are free ones, there are paid ones. But for me personally, one of the things that I really want to get into this year is I want to get into mentorships. I did a mentorship last year, and oh my God, I did 1 month of it, and it literally saved years off of my art life. And I really want to get back into that. And one of the things I said last year was that I wanted to look into a few mentorships and decide which ones would be best for me, because I want to grow both as an artist and as a content creator here on this platform. And so this year, I'm actually going to go ahead and start that. I've determined down the 2 to 3 that I actually want to do, but I do want to get into that because I feel that they're going to pay dividends. And hey, look, maybe you've been trying this for a while and you know this stuff already, but you just can't implement it. And that's where my one-on-one art mentorship comes into play. Listen, this is not a course, it's not a class, it's me and you working one-on-one to to accomplish the things that you want to do at the pace you want to do it. I've helped people just like you totally supercharge their art business and be able to achieve everything that they didn't think they'd be able to do for years in a matter of months. And if that sounds like you, then go ahead and check out the link in my description, fill out the form, and I'll reach out to you soon. Do it if you're serious, do it if you really want to change your life this year, because I know I can do that for you too. Now, another one of my goals this year is that I'm going to do a very scary thing for me, which is that I'm going to put my artwork up for the critique and advice of professional artists on some of the platforms that I know and love this year. And I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I know that it's going to help me grow into the artist that I want to be, even if it's a painful transition. What about you? Are you ready to do this too? Now, so far on this video, we've been trying to go through some really great actionable art goals that are actually going to bring transformation into your life, that are going to help you step into the role that you've always wanted and desired and you dream of being, right? But I got to be honest with you, there are so many bad art goals, and I can't tell you how many times I've read articles and watched videos where I'm like, wow, that's just the most generic stuff, and it's no wonder why nobody ever achieves these things. And if you want to know what these are so that you can avoid them for this year, go ahead and watch this video right here. I'm going to spill the beans on all of them. And if this helped you, please make sure that you share it with somebody that you know and love. Thanks so much. See you next time.